All right, today I want to show you a little bit more stuff with motion. I'm just going to use the standard turtle sprite right here. I'm going to go to Control. The standard is the green flag is clicked, and that's a really good one to put out there because you can put multiple sprites with green flag is clicked, and then when you click it, it starts running all of the programming simultaneously. Technically, it's not really simultaneously, but it's close enough for our purposes. So I'm going to go to motion, and if I just put move 10 steps, I've got a situation where every time I click the flag, it'll move 10 steps. Now, I think what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to try to draw an isosceles triangle. Let's draw an equilateral triangle. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I would go about developing the steps to draw an equilateral triangle. Then your assignment is going to be to develop a program that'll draw a square. So I'm going to play around with it a little bit and try to make it fancy. First of all, if I am going to draw an equilateral triangle, I think I want to take up as much space as possible. So I think I'm going to start by just dragging my sprite down here, and I'm going to just see how many times it takes me to click the green flag and move 10 steps to get a decent amount across the screen. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is taking way too long. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase my incrementation to 50. I'm going to drag him back to the start. And I'm going to see how many times it takes going 50 to get across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 times 50 is 350. However, just to be really cool, what would happen if I wanted to incrementally draw my triangle? So we talked a little bit about loopage yesterday, and I'm going to talk about some more loops today. So I'm going to pick a repeat loop. So the repeat loop is in the control field, and if you pull it out, you're going to create a loop that will work that many times. So if I change the 10 to a 7, and if I snap this into here, and if I snap this into here, then he's going to move 50 units 7 times. Now that'll go pretty quick if I just leave it like that. So if I pull my sprite over here and click the green flag, he's going to move across the screen pretty quick. It looked like it was almost instantaneous. But if I want to slow it down a little bit, there's a wait command. So I'm going to slow it down to 0.2 of a second. So he's only going to move every 0.2 seconds. So now if I drag him back over here and I click the green flag, now we can see him incrementally moving across the screen. That's pretty cool, huh? All right, so I've got the way to move across the bottom of the screen at an incremental pace. I really want to be able to start from this location over here, though. I don't want to keep dragging my sprite back. Chris, how do you think I would set it up to where I could start at that location? What would be the procedure that I would go through to preset my start point?
You can check to see where the sprite is right now, and then you could add in the command when green flag clicked, it goes to that location.
All right. So how would I do that?
You would go to, I would go to motion, and then scroll down to maybe you can do glide if you want to be fancy, but I think they have.
I think I'm going to start out by finding out where I actually am.
Yeah.
So I'm going to click the X and Y positions, and that's going to say that I'm at negative 166, negative 142. I think probably if I set or go to, I'm going to put this out of the loop, by the way, because I don't want to be going back to that 7 times.
Yeah.
I want to start there and then leave that. I think if I do negative 165 and negative 142, I'll be pretty safe. All right, even negative 140. All right, so now when I click the green flag, it should start me at that position and then increment me over. So yeah, I kind of like that. I kind of like that when I click the green flag, I'm starting at a certain place. What's the difference between go to and glide? Does anybody know?
One like teleports you, the other glide.
Right. So one has some sort of visual movement that incrementally moves you from one place to another and you can visually see it. And the other one is a good way of putting it. It's like teleporting. I think I'm going to go with the teleporting. Now, to draw a triangle, I'm going to need to be able to somehow create a line under my turtle. So if you look down at this fourth block of code, there's pen tools. Okay? What do you think would let me put my pen down? Pen down. So probably what I want to do is I want to put pen down, but then when I'm done, I want to put pen up. And maybe even before I put the pen down, I want to clear any lines that are out there. So now, oh, did you see when it teleported me back, it drew a line. So where your pen goes is going to be pretty important, and where the clear command goes is going to be pretty important. So I want to clear this out, and then maybe I want to go to first and then put my pen down. So that's one of the key things to realize here. When you're doing programming, order matters. Order is huge when doing your programming. So now I'm going to click on the green flag. It's going to go back. It's going to put the pen down, and it's going to allow me to draw a line. You can do a lot of cool things with your pen. You can tell what color you want. You can, I think you can change the size, yeah. So what happens if I change my color to dark blue and I change the size to like 5? And I'll do all of that right after I put the pen down. I'll change all of that stuff. And now when I click the green flag, look at that. Pretty interesting, huh? All right, now, here's the question. If I want to make an equilateral triangle, I'm going to have to turn the sprite. How many degrees do you think I need to turn the sprite so that the interior angle of this triangle would be 60 degrees? So I'm going to have to make a turn to what direction? Clockwise or counterclockwise? Counterclockwise. I'm going to have to turn counterclockwise 120 degrees. So I will go back to motion. Motion has the turning. So turning counterclockwise is what's going to turn me back. And we already said 120 degrees. So now, then I want to do this repeat block again. So I'm going to duplicate this repeat block, but I want to do it after the turn. What did I do there? Did you see what I accidentally did there?
No.
I put the repeat block inside the other repeat block.
No. How did you copy it?
Oh, okay. That's a good question. So how do you copy a block of code? You select the code that you want and you right-click on it. And so I've got a lot of options there. One is duplicate, and I think if I hit duplicate, it just duplicates just that repeat thing. But it also, below duplicate, has given me, hey, do you want to duplicate the repeat loop and everything inside of it? And so if you click on that, it'll only duplicate that section of the block. And now you've got a second one, and you can kind of drag it and click it anywhere. All right, so now if I click the green flag, I've got two sides of the triangle. And so if I put another turn in there, I'm going to duplicate this turn. If I click that, nope, I don't want it to go inside the loop. I want it to go outside the loop. And then I can duplicate that again. So there's my whole code. I can move the thing down if I want to see the rest of the code. But now if I click the green flag, what happened? Who knows? Something that maybe if I just click the green flag again. Whew! But wait a minute. If I do it again, if I click the green flag again, what's happening? It's like going off the screen.
You gotta tell it to point in one direction.
There you go. So one of the things I need to preset is not only my go-to, but I probably need to preset the direction. I want to point it to the left, which is 90 degrees. So now when I click the green flag, it'll start out at the right place. That line just seems way too thick to me. How can I fix that? Oh yeah, I'm going to go and change that to a 3. That doesn't look like a 3 to me. Let's change it to a 2. Change pin size by, doesn't seem to be doing anything. Oh, maybe it's making the pin size bigger each time. Maybe what I need, or what I really want, is set pin size. So there's a difference between the word change and the word set. Notice my lines kept getting thicker and thicker and thicker every time I ran the program. That's because I kept changing the pin size by 2, which means I kept adding 2 to the pin size. I think if I want to start out with a pin size of 5, I need to set the pin size. So I'm going to take out change pin size and change that to set pin size. And then I can see if 5 is thick enough for me. 5 is really not as thick as I want it to. So I'm going to set pin size to 10. That should be twice as thick as what I've got there. Notice it automatically points it in the right direction this time. And I've now got a program that'll draw a triangle. All right. The loopage that I've got here seems kind of long. So how many times did I use the same repeat loop?
3 times.
So what if I went to Control and I got another repeat loop and I repeated it 3 times? And then inside of that repeat loop, I stuck a draw the line, and then I don't want to repeat the turn 7 times, but I want to repeat the turn once. So I'll snap it inside the repeat 3, but outside the repeat 7. And then I'll snap that in there. And I'll take my pin up code and move it there. And I wonder what happens now. So I'll run the program and see it does the same thing without having to snap it on 3 different times. So this might be advantageous if I was going to draw a 20-sided figure. If I was going to draw a 20-sided figure, of course I'd have to adjust the degree turn a little bit. But now I wouldn't have to put 20 different codes. I could just change the repeat value from 3 to 20. So by changing some stuff up, you can make a different shape. And you might want to alter your starting area too. So that's basically how you go through and how you use a repeat loop to accomplish the same task over and over again. So basically, I've gone 50 steps 21 times. So 50 times 21 is 420 steps. Is that right? I think that's right. All right. I'll let you go ahead. Now your assignment is to do the same thing I did, but make a square. And if you want to get really fancy, maybe change colors while the pen's moving and that sort of thing. See if you can't come up with something that makes a very interesting square.